BJ Mafia was popping. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Indianapolis Colts in Week 6, 37-20. The Jaguars improved to 4-2 on the season, and they are in sole possession of #1 place in the AFC South. And the Indianapolis Colts, they dropped to 3-3 on the season. Now, 3 things that are promised in life: death, taxes, and the Jaguars beating the Colts in Jacksonville. Fun fact for you guys that don't know the history between these two AFC South opponents: since Josh Scobie hit that 59-yard game-winning field goal over Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts, the Jaguars haven't lost to Indianapolis in Jacksonville since that game. So just a fun little fact for you guys right there. Before we go ahead and actually talk about this recap video, make sure you guys do 3 things for me first and foremost. Make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a like. It takes 1 second and it helps me the channel out tremendously. Hit that subscribe bell if you guys are new here and you guys want to see more Jaguars content. And 3, make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. Let's go ahead and talk about the Indianapolis Colts first and foremost. Now, I already addressed this in the preview video, but I'm going to address it yet again. I think Anthony Richardson is a phenomenal young player, an even better man, and he's going to be a great quarterback in this league over time. Now, obviously, as of right now, he sustained a 4 to 8 week shoulder injury, and I just want to say, prayers up to him. I hope he recovers well. I hope it's not a season-ending injury for his sake and just for, the sake of a lot of Colts fans out there. I don't really have any animosity towards them. Second thing is with the Indianapolis Colts, I don't think that their game plan coming into this game was very good. You had Jonathan Taylor, who came back with his new contract, his second game back off of that. Zach Moss had been one of the best running backs throughout the beginning parts of the season. And you have Gardner Minshew go out there and throw 55 pass attempts. Now look, it was great to see Minshew Mania come back to Jacksonville. He deserved that round of applause, and Minshew's a great, humble young guy. I got nothing against him. But when you have a quarterback that is very limited, he's a dink and dunk kind of guy, schematically you've got to get him in positions to be successful, and he doesn't have the arm talent to have vertical, ability to stretch the field and to make defenses worried or hesitant. He doesn't have that kind of ability. So having your quarterback go out there and throw 55 passes was the problem with this offense for the most part. Gardner Minshew was 33 of 55, 329 yards, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times, and a couple of those interceptions probably could have been like 4 or 5 potentially, and he had a passer rating of a 60.9. Not a great game from him. Obviously, you don't really have much expectations for your backup quarterback, but Gardner Minshew and Shane Steichen in that offense needed to play better. They didn't really start to show up until late into the 4th quarter. Otherwise, not much else to say about the quarterback position. Running the ball, like I said, they did not establish the run game. 17 carries for 44 yards. It's not good enough. The receiving department, Joshua Downs is a guy who I've talked a lot about, especially pre-draft process. I really wanted this cat in Jacksonville. He obviously ended up in Indianapolis. He had a very solid game next to Michael Pittman Jr., who had 9 catches for 109 yards. Jonathan Taylor had 5 catches for 46 yards out of the backfield. Zach Moss, 6 receptions for 38 yards. Joshua Downs, 5 catches for 21 yards. And for the Colts offense, you really can't expect much when you have a Jaguars defense who's extremely opportunistic, especially when you talk about takeaways, which we'll address in a little bit. You've got the Jaguars defense who comes in knowing that the Colts quarterback situation is completely different, 2 different styles of play. You have Anthony Richardson, who can make a lot of plays with his legs, and he's got superior arm talent compared to Gardner Minshew, which that might be an unpopular opinion, but that's just my thoughts on it. Not much you can expect from the Colts offense. Defensively for the Colts, they didn't really do much. Obviously, the Jaguars went out there and scored 40 points. They started to play a lot better in the 4th quarter, but obviously too little too late. Now let's actually go ahead and talk about the Jaguars and what they did in this game. Look, as a Jags fan, still expecting wins doesn't feel right to me. I've been through so much trauma through 22 years of supporting this team that going into games expecting a win just doesn't sit right with me. It'll still take time to get used to it. But I expected to win this game, and sure enough, we went out there, dominated the game in every aspect of the game, all 3 phases, and we went out there and took care of business. The only thing that pissed me off, and rightfully so, I think many Jags fans can attest to this, is the fact that the Jaguars, took their foot off the pedal. They took their foot off the pedal. They didn't, finish the game all gas, no brakes towards the 4th quarter. They were just playing lackluster, kind of half-ass effort out there. That's just the best way for me to put it. You don't go out there, you don't put your quarterback in predicaments to get hurt, to throw interceptions. Just run the clock out. The run game was working fine. Just run the clock out. Now let's actually talk about the Jaguars offensively, and we'll talk about all the good stuff. Trevor Lawrence looked the part today. 20 of 30, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times, and I will say 1, maybe 2 of those sacks were on Trevor Lawrence, but I'll have to go back and when I watch the film, I'll have a better analysis of it. He had a passer rating of a 91.1. Travis Etienne, can't say enough about this kid, man. 18 carries for 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he obviously had the 22-yard touchdown run on that Wildcat formation. I'd love to see Press Taylor and the Jaguars use a lot more Wildcat in this offense. And then for the receivers, I mean, they did their job today. No one was outstanding, no one was spectacular. They did their job. Christian Kirk, 3 catches for 49 yards and that touchdown. Evan Ingram, 7 catches for 41 yards and that incredible one-handed grab. Calvin Ridley, 4 catches for 30 yards. Etienne had 3 for 28 out of the backfield. Just sound, overall, good football for the Jaguars. And I also forgot to mention this. I hope Walker Little and Tyson Campbell are okay. I assume Trevor Lawrence is going to be fine after we saw him go down in the 4th quarter. You never want to have injuries, especially to 2 key players on both sides of the ball. Let's just hope that the Jaguars are going to be good for Thursday Night Football. Now, defensively for the Jaguars, bro, can't say enough. Getting Devin Lloyd back after missing the last 2 games with that thumb injury, he played his absolute ass off today. Foye Oluokun was all over the field. And then in the secondary, Darius Williams had a great game. 3 straight games now with an interception. Rayshawn Jenkins, Andre Sisco. And Andre Sisco might be playing like the best safety in the game of football as of right now. I think the Jaguars front 7 did a very good job of getting home to Gardner Minshew, creating a lot of pressures. And that's exactly what you can do with a relatively mobile and stationary quarterback with a guy like Gardner Minshew. Josh Allen with that strip sack fumble helped really ignite the home crowd, ignite this defense, and get the momentum going in our direction. Trayvon Walker had the sack. Roy Robertson Harrison was flying all around. Just a good overall sound game by the Jaguars defense. And give Mike Caldwell his flowers. The Jaguars defense is #1 in the NFL in takeaways. The Jaguars were an extremely opportunistic group last season when it came to defensive takeaways, especially in critical moments. And the Jaguars have followed that up with an even better start to the 2023 season on the defensive side of the ball. Takeaways, 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 helping set your offense up in good field position, getting the momentum in your direction. Cannot say enough about the job Mike Caldwell has done. And imagine if you get more production out of, pass rushers that are going to help the back end. And I also forgot to mention Caleb on Chason. Maybe you add a Brian Burns, maybe you add a Chase Young. You go out there and you make a Frank Clark signing. Who knows what goes on? The Jaguars defense, Mike Caldwell, got to give them their flowers. Brandon McManus has been phenomenal, 3 of 3 today. Jamal Agnew had a huge kick return that set the Jaguars up in good field position in the 4th quarter. Great game overall for the Jaguars. Love what I saw. I have no animosity towards the Colts or Colts fans at all. Obviously, love to see divisional wins. The Jaguars are 2-1 in the division now. The Jaguars have a big turnaround up on Thursday. Thursday primetime football in New Orleans. I wish I could be there. I was planning on being there before the season, and financially, that's just not feasible. Let's just put it like that. Jags fans, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. If you guys are new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And like I said, make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But Jags fans, thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ, I'm out, y'all. Enjoy your victory Monday. Go Jags, baby. Peace.